this person who she is. Toastmasters has a contest every single year, and it's called the International Speech Contest. We have multiple contests. We have the Evaluator Contest, we have the Table Topics Contest, we have Humorous Contest. Sure. We have the Tall Tales. See anything else? Tall Tales, Humorous, Evaluation, Impromptu, Table Topics. Table Topics. So we have a couple of those other contests, and they go to a certain level. But the big shabada bada bing bing is the World Championship of Public Speaking, that international speech contest. And about 30,000 people from all around the world. We get so comfortable with our Toastmasters clubs here locally that we forget that there are hundreds of clubs all around the world. So people from all types of countries, all over the place, compete. And in 2018, I made it past a bunch of different levels. I'll go through them for the people who may not be familiar. So you start amongst your club members. So if you join this club, you will compete against whomever wants to compete here. And from there, you'll compete against all the people who competed in the clubs in the area contest. And then from there, you'll compete against all the winners who won at the division level. And then you move on to the mini shabada bada bing bing. That is the district level competition. And then from the district level competition, you'll go up to the semifinals. And then from the semifinals, you'll go to the big bada bing, the World Championship final stage of public speaking. So there are layers. And I was able to outlast those 30,000 people in 2018 to become the world champion. So in our small, tiny little world of Toastmasters, I'm kind of a big deal. Okay? So that's why a few people stood up. But it's kind of a big deal. It is something that a lot of people aspire to become. So a lot of people, it changes their lives when they become the world champion, and I'm no different. That is why I wanted to tell you where it started and how it's going. Where it started in a small town in Los Angeles, California, but it was more Hawthorne. But if I say Hawthorne, who knows where Hawthorne, California is? Okay, one person, okay, right here. Oh, two people, okay. So I joined a club in Hawthorne, California. That was my first Toastmasters club. Why did I join? Because I've always had a passion to speak. I've always been dramatic and theatrical. And once I realized that I wanted to speak, my sister said, you should join the Toastmasters Club. I said, what? What is Toastmasters? What is even that? What do they do? She said, find a club near you and go and see. They're going to help you with your public speaking. I went, I joined. It was weird. Everybody was clapping. I didn't know what was going on, but as I continued to come, consistency, as I continued to come, I realized, wow, this is a safe space for me to be able to practice my speeches and to polish my speaking. Because as a novice speaker, I was the lady. I was the lady who always went over time. I was the lady who was not structured in her speeches. I would be here, then I would be there, then I would be there. And it was very difficult for the audience to follow me. And I tend to speak a little fast, so I'm trying to slow down. But back then I was talking like really, really fast like this. Nobody could ever be able to figure out what I'm saying because I'm talking like that. So I had to work on my velocity, and it helped build me as a speaker. And then as I continued on with the organization, that was in 2010, I believe. As I continued on with the organization, I started to explore the leadership side. I actually moved to Ohio, and I joined another club, and that club was a corporate club. So the first club I joined in Hawthorne, it was very dramatized. The president was a lady named Amy Ayano. She was a small Asian lady. She would always come in a kimono, and she would start every meeting with, welcome Toastmasters and honored guests to the greatest show on earth. It was kind of that vibe. And then when I moved back home to Ohio, it was a corporate club. Our corporate clubs are serious. We get down to business. Everything is 1, 2, 3, ABC. It's not the show. It's not the greatest show on earth. We are here to learn to get better in corporate America. And then I moved down here to Houston, and I joined the Cypress Super Speakers. Anybody heard of the Cypress Super Speakers? Right. And that was kind of a mixture of both. We had people who are very artistic, but still professional. And it was the best of both worlds for me. And it was then in 2018, I knew that I wanted to continue to compete. I tried to compete in 2015 and I had some beginner's luck. I had beginner's luck. You know how you do something for the first time, you don't know if you're good at it, but you start to ascend. I had beginner's luck mixed with a lot of arrogance as a young person. I was much younger back then. I'm still 25. But I was much younger back then when I competed in the corporate club. It's called the Cleveland Club. When I competed then, I won at the club, I won at the area, I won at the division, and I got to the district level, and I'm like, I'm gonna beat all these old people. They're talking about boring things. But a much more polished, mature Toastmaster won. I will never forget her name to the day I die, Kitty Brandoff. She beat me, and I will never forget her name. I love her now though. But she won, and it was because she was consistent with Toastmasters. She was a leader in Toastmasters. She was very involved in Toastmasters, and once you continue to stay and you stick with it, you'll see your growth. I saw that growth in Kitty, and I see that growth in myself. Fast forward back to 2018 when I decided to compete with the Cypress super speakers. I wanted to learn, grow, and have fun there. And that's when I started to get more involved, not only as a speaker, but as a leader. I've been the vice president of public relations, VPPR. These are some, for those of us who are not familiar, these are some leadership roles that you can take on within your club. I was the vice president of public relations. I was the secretary. I was the treasurer. I did president for a little while. Any presidents? God bless you. It is a lot. And then I moved upwards to the area director role. And then I tried the division director role. Any division directors? Bless your soul. It wasn't for me. But for our new people, our new members, I definitely encourage you to explore the leadership track and the public speaking track. Just don't come in just to speak. Get that leadership experience as well. As a leader, I was able to still compete in 2018, and whether you want to compete or not, or whether you consider yourself a competitive speaker or not, I definitely encourage you to get in those contests. Why? Because it helps you sharpen your skills. If you're going against other people and you have to prepare and you have to learn how to structure and organize a speech and how to do it at a higher level, it's going to help you develop even more as a speaker. So anyone who is a member or not and you've never competed, that's a challenge. Maybe that's my call to action. If you have not ever competed in the speech contest as a member or as a new member, I encourage you to speak. I think contest season is coming up, right? Mm-hmm. It's right around the corner. When is it?
Spring, February, March.
February. That's a challenge for you. So just consider it. Not saying you have to go all the way, but just to kind of sharpen the saw. But for me, I was able to make it. I was able to make it all the way. And when I won, I was teaching in Aldine. Anybody know the Aldine area? Mm-hmm. I was teaching in Aldine. I was teaching high schoolers. That's a crowd right there. You ever want a tough crowd, teach some high schoolers. And I was teaching in high school, and then I won, and there's no blueprint. There's no how to become the world champion of public speaking. So I'm like, I won, okay, back to the classroom. So I go back to the classroom, and then I'm getting all these media calls, and people want to interview me, and I'm like, me? A teacher? A 25-year-old teacher? Read the article, it's not gonna say 25. But this 25-year-old teacher, me? And then things really start as the word continued to get out about the World Championship of Public Speaking and the winners. It started to really snowball, and I had no idea. So it continued to snowball, and then I started to get invited all over the world, from Dubai to Malaysia to Brazil to Sri Lanka, all these different places. I'm actually headed to Abu Dhabi in a couple of weeks. So I had no idea that just joining a dramatic, cute Toastmasters Club in Hawthorne would take me all over the globe. But it's in the choices that you make. It's in the consistency. It's in the giving of your time and the giving of your resources at times. It's in the volunteering. Sometimes it's in the being voluntold. But this organization can take you to heights that you've never even imagined. But it depends on what you do with it. So if you've never, ever heard of this organization, I I encourage you to join. Try it out. It's not expensive. You probably spend more on wine in a month than you will in 6 months on your Toastmasters membership. I encourage you to not only come and show up, but to get involved. Get involved. Make sure you get to know people. Make sure you network. Get involved in your contest. Get involved in your leadership, and see how you can grow as a person. Toastmasters is all about leadership and where leaders are born, and to develop those public speaking skills. So just give it a try. Just hop in, join in. Where I started from Hawthorne, California, to now being a global public speaking icon. But to being able to share my experience with you all is amazing. So thank you, Di, for having me. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that you continue on with your Toastmasters journey. Thank you.
Thank you.